आखिर अरोड़ा जी, आप स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं हमारे साथ।
हाँ, अगर आप कहें तो मैं कर सकता हूँ। हाँ जी।
लास्ट टाइम आपने कहा था ना, तो
जी जी जी।
जस्ट
Recording has started.
इसमें प्लीज थोड़ा सा बंद
जी।
कर ऑन।
वसुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रम्
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रम्
नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय
तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
नित्यं शुद्धं निराकारम्
नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासम्
निराकारं निरञ्जनम्
निराकारं निरञ्जनम्
नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दम्
नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दम्
गुरुं ब्रह्म नमाम्यहम्।
गुरुं ब्रह्म नमाम्यहम्।
साधनचतुष्टयसम्पन्न
साधनचतुष्टयसम्पन्न
अधिकारिणाम्
अधिकारिणां
मोक्षसाधनभूतम्
मोक्षसाधनभूतम्
तत्त्वविवेकप्रकारम्
तत्त्वविवेकप्रकारम्
वक्ष्यामः।
वक्ष्यामः।
साधनचतुष्टयम् किम्?
साधनचतुष्टयं किम्?
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
इहामुत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः
इहामुत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः
क्षमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः
क्षमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः
मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति
मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः?
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
विवेकः कः?
विवेकः
नित्यवस्त्वेकं ब्रह्म
नित्यवस्त्वेकं ब्रह्म
तद्व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वमनित्यम्
तद्वैरिक्तं सर्वमनित्यम्
अयमेव नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
अयमेव नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
विरागः कः?
विरागः कः?
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
किं नाम वैराग्यम्
सॉरी
किं
किम ना
नाम
हाँ जी
वैराग्यम्
किम नाम वैराग्यम
अदृढरागद्वेषवत्वम्
अदृढरागद्वेषवत्वम्
शोभना अध्यासा
शोभना अध्यासा
इहामुत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः
इहामुत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्
Very good. So we were yesterday saw a very subtle point, which is to say that our senses and sense objects, their respective sense objects, have a relationship. They always coexist. They go together. One without the other is not verifiable by the experiencer. So if you have objects but you don't have senses, you cannot verify the presence of the objects without senses revealing them to you. Vice versa, if you do not have the senses or if you do not have the objects, either way, one of them missing, you realize that there is no experience generated. And absence of an experience, generated experience, is absence of knowledge. जिसका अनुभव नहीं है, उसका ज्ञान नहीं है. So sense and sense object have always a mutual presence. They present themselves together to the observer, the actual experiencer, the knower is the right word, the one who recognizes the experience. This recognition of the experience by the knower, we are not calling any name here. Who is the knower is not what we are addressing. Bas take it on the level of saying, कोई जानने वाला तो है. जो जानने वाला है उस अनुभव को, उस experience को. And here I'm talking about the experience of the senses and the contact with the sense object. अगर बहुत अच्छी कोई डिश है आपके सामने, लेकिन आप की टंग, आपका टेस्ट नहीं है, सेंस ऑफ टेस्ट नहीं है, you cannot say it is tasty or not. The knowledge of it being consumable, tasty, etc., this knowledge only is the knowledge of the experience that has been generated between the contact of the senses and the sense object. A very essential point, और इसको आप एक सिद्धांत ही समझ लीजिए, means it's a very fundamental, subtle but very fundamental brick on which the Vedantic vision starts to establish itself. अगर ये पॉइंट हमको दृढ़ नहीं होता है, क्लियर नहीं होता है अपनी बुद्धि में, अपनी समझ में, तो हमको आगे वेदांत का जो रियल महावाक्य का प्रकरण है, जो टॉपिक है, वो इतना साफ माइंड में होगा नहीं. You won't understand it very well, because this is one of the fundamental on which that portion gets built. What is this point? Repeating myself, there is an inseparable contact between senses and their respective sense objects. This inseparable contact is what we call as an experience. Sense experience. I want to differentiate experience here. So I'm going to say it is sense experience. This sense experience by itself has no meaning unless and until there is an experiencer of it who has the knowledge of the experience. हम लोगों में, this point is, this experience that the senses are generating, sense experience, is what we understand only as real. Our idea of reality, our concept of reality, हम जब कहते हैं ये सब बहुत real है, तो हम actually सिर्फ अपने experiences को real का दर्जा दे रहे हैं. The object is real is only because I experienced it. If I have not experienced it, I can't say the object is real. Like, for example, gives the example like horns on a human being head, on a human head. The horns on a human head are not there, not existent, not experienceable because they're not there. So it's just an imagination. It's not an experience-based knowledge. So the horns on a human head have no existence. है ही नहीं तो आपको experience कैसे होगा उसका? And अगर experience ही नहीं है, तो any amount of me visualizing it and claiming that there is a man I saw who had a horn on his head, like bulls have, like if I start claiming that, then will anyone believe me? Why? Because it is nobody's experience. Because human head does not have horns is my experience. That someone claims that they saw a horn on a human head, I will laugh it off as that person's problem, subjective interpretation, subjective misinterpretation, subjective hallucination, subjective imagination, poetry. I can say anything, but I will not believe it. Why? Because my experiences, my sense experiences, that I have not seen a human being with horns. So my sense of reality is actually caught up between the sense contact of its object, and this is what I totally claim as real. Vedanta says, ये जो reality आपको feel हो रही है ना, अपने experiences की, उसको start examining it. Start seeing that is it truly standing the definitions of real. When you examine them, the very fundamental definition we have already covered in Viveka portion, definition of real is that which should stand the test of time. In all periods of time, it should be experienceable. It should be available for experience in every period of time. As long as there is time, it should be experienceable. That it is available for experience is within the realm of time is one thing. We questioned one step before that. Is time also experienced by someone? Is time an experience for someone? It is always available for experience. So since time is also available for experience, that experiencer of time-based experiences in which the sense-based experiences are felt, that is real. And all this experience-based sense of reality is a temporary sense only as long as the sense contacts are there. Is this somewhat clear, or should I repeat it? Repeat? Okay. I'll start from the beginning because it's very important. आंखें रूप और रंग देखती है, उसी को हम एक्सपीरियंस कहते हैं. You have to multiply it with all the other senses. हम उसी को एक्सपीरियंस कहते हैं अपना. This experience अपने आप में किसने जाना? Can there ever be an experience without the knower of the experience? Cannot be, no? क्योंकि unless and until experience तो किसी का हुआ है, जिसने एक्सपीरियंस किया है उसकी इंद्रियां थी, उस इंद्रियों का कांटेक्ट उसके ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ हुआ, उस कांटेक्ट में एक एक्सपीरियंस जनरेट हुआ, उस एक्सपीरियंस को जानने वाला एक था. ये जो जानने वाला जिसको हम मैं कह देते हैं, वेदांता का पॉइंट यहां पे आके अटकेगा, जिसको मेरा एक्सपीरियंस हम कहते हैं. And उसके बाद then we start off with pleasant experience, unpleasant experience, which I will take a little while later. But here, that experience that I recognize as my experience, I am calling it as real is my point here. I'm calling it as real. Isn't it true? If I have eaten something and I like it, I say it's tasty, it's really tasty. If I'm hearing some music and I like it, I say I really like it. If I've seen someone or some beautiful picture or some painting and I say, oh, I really like it, or I don't like it at all. When I'm saying I like it, I don't like it, watch the underlying reality ka affirmation that I am very strongly holding on to. I don't question the reality. I am 100% as sure कि ये experience मेरा real है. This is my real experience. This real experience, Vedanta says, question, is it really real? जिसको हम पूरा अपना सेंस व्यवहार कह रहे हैं, सेंस इंटरैक्शन बेस्ड प्लेजर्स एंड सॉरोस को रियल मान रहे हैं, शास्त्र कहता है सोचो, विचारो. Think, is it real? To examine if it is real or not, you have to go by some definition of reality. And the definition of reality is that object should be available for experience in all periods of time. It should always means it should be, time should not even have an effect on it. It should be available for experience, period. Now, everything generated within time is sensory-based experience. In one word, my waking world. पूरा का पूरा जागृत अवस्था हमारी, जिसमें सब मैं और मेरा है, सब मैं मेरे, अच्छा बुरा, सुख दुख, हानि लाभ, ये सब एक्सपीरियंस जनरेटेड, सेंस जनरेटेड एक्सपीरियंस है. This, what I call as real, is it available for all periods of time? Is it ever an experienced state, or is it only available within the waking state? That waking state itself is our idea of time. So everything generated within the sense experience is time-based, time, space, causation based. That it is time, space, causation based experience, it does not stand the test of reality when I go to sleep. The entire thing disappears, is not contactable, is not recognizable. ये पूरा मैं, जो पूरी दुनिया का एक्सपीरियंस है मेरा, जिसको मैंने रियल कहा है, at this point when you and I are awake and we are talking, we are listening, we are thinking, we are, all of this is, can any one of us say is unreal? No, it's real. And we are not saying it is unreal. It is not like a horn on a man's head. This waking experience cannot be disqualified as a no experience. It is there. But is it real? That sense of reality that I impose on my sense experience is what yesterday I was trying to explain, that this is captured, our reality का जो idea है, knowledge है, उसको हमने sense और sense contact based experience में as a बांध ली है. It's got bound only to that much. It is only available in that much. Because I do not extend that at the point of saying that I have an experience of myself without the sense engagements. That me, the real is what Vedanta says. That experiencer who's experiencing the coming and the going of all sense-based experiences, the mistake I have somehow out of non-recognition made is that I'm imposing that experiencer who's free of this waking experience, and the waking experience is time, space, causation, bound experience, sensory experience. वो जो सारा का सारा इसमें बंधा हुआ है, मैंने गलती कुछ misplacement हो गया है, and that misplacement say that reality I have placed it on the sense-based experience. I hope to some extent it's getting clear. That I have based it on the sense-based experience is all that Vedanta says needs a little correction. कि जहां हमारी समझ में आ गई ये बात कि ये टेम्पररी है, it's not real. I don't have to get anxious if I lose it. I don't have to be excited as if I've gained it. It's okay. Hani labh is a part of the sense experience. क्योंकि the entire thing is temporary. तो जो आ रहा है वो जा रहा है, जो जाएगा वो वापस आएगा, कुछ और आएगा. The whole thing being temporary based. That one word for it was, which looks real but is not substantial, is what in Viveka we saw is called asat or mithya. Temporary. It's not like a man's horn, which is completely not there. That experience I can never verify as knowledge because वो है ही नहीं experience. तो वो actually में object है ही नहीं. But my sense experience, my waking world, I cannot say कि है ही नहीं like the horns on a man's head. But my error is, my mistake is in the sense of where the confusion has happened in thinking is that the real experiencer, I have misplaced it to the experiencer of the senses alone. And experiencer of the senses is the individual. मैं. Is this a little clear? Good. That experiencer of the senses is just मैं. This मैं, I. The minute I am able to see that the entire waking world rests around this मैं, that मैं is mithya. The individual is not the real मैं, is a mithya. It's not that it's not there, but it is there, but I am misplacing it on just temporary experiences. And when I place it on temporary experiences and call them real, then my happiness and my sorrows have no limit. The intensity of my joys when I get something is extreme. And as extreme as I will be with what I get, so extreme I will also fall into when I lose it. You know that graph, if your happiness is so much, then when it falls, it will not fall at this much, it will fall at in the same way. So those who go through depression and excitements based on sense experience and call it real, शास्त्र एक शब्द कहता है इसके लिए, then samsara word, it's not the people and the objects, but because you lent a sense of reality on the temporary things, which means you somehow internally expected them to last, to be the real experience. You somehow expected कि ये जो आनंद है ना मेरा ये रहेगा because ये तो real है, तो ये तो बदलेगा नहीं. So you were not anticipating जब वो बदल गया. तो जब वो आनंद नहीं रहा, जैसे yesterday we said sense based experience होगा तो the diminishing value of it will start emerging. जैसे ही वो आनंद घटने लगता है उस sense contact से, you somehow feel strange कि अरे what happened, you know, because you were thinking happiness है तो why is it losing itself, why is it getting lost? Our favorite example is, these are many chapters ahead somewhere, but example will be when I'm craving for some food, anything, a particular dish, you know, and I've not had it for a very, very, very long time. And when I'm really craving for it, you know, and when after a long wait or some mehnat karke, oh, I manage to eat that, I get it. The first morsel, what's the joy? Tremendous joy, isn't it? But by the time I've finished eating it, now what's the joy? Good, satisfied. But the host or wherever you had it insists that you eat more because you liked it. But your stomach is full now. And they insist you must have more because it's so good, you liked it. Now अभी तो 15 मिनट पहले the same dish was giving you so much joy. Just 15 minutes later, what happened to the joy content in it? That's called diminishing of the joy in the sense contact. Taste, happiness. Sorrow is also like that. No, however grieving a person is, the first grief, and with time that sort of saying is, वक्त सब कुछ heal कर देता है, भुला देता है सब. Now this when becomes clear to the person कि ये एक relative real है. The right word is मिथ्या का English translation should be relative real. Definition should not be unreal. I mean, translation should not be unreal. Relative real. And if it is only relative real, and I understand it's relative real, how will I contact the things after that? If I understand it is relatively real, and I'm still I have to contact objects and beings, how do I contact them now? With the same sense that it is relatively real, means I don't have the expectation of its lasting value. I don't have the expectation of saying that this contact will remain and I'll ever be blissful. I'll ever be in a state of happiness. That doesn't emerge. That the correction of your expectations from the sense-based happiness and unhappiness is vairagyam. What is vairagyam? Because of your correct understanding, you just cannot misplace the happiness as permanent that you get from sensory pleasures. You understand that the real experiencer, I may have no recognition of who I am in the real sense is another matter, but itna samajh mein aa jata hai कि the real is different from this individual, because simple logic, this individual is not contactable in my sleep, but my memory of my sleep is available to me when I wake up. So the experiencer of the sleep and the dream and the waking must be the real experiencer and not the experiencer that is there restricted to the waking. So Vairagyam meant that the minute I have the right value to the object given, I somehow cannot overvalue it to give me the lastingness of that experience. ये रहेगा नहीं. अब पता है कि जब तक है तब तक है. You don't know. All of us say it, but most of us are unprepared for changes. We all know this. Change is a law of life, but we are not prepared for change. Why are we not prepared for change? Because we don't identify the imposition of the real that we have done on the relatively real things. And since that is so, therefore, what Vairagyam really means is that I give up the excess values that I have placed to my yearning for happiness on temporary experiences. I give up the excess dependencies, the excess value that I have placed on temporary experiences. When I give that up, that giving up brings tremendous peace. This giving up of misplaced values. We see that it is not always with viveka, understanding, this kind of understanding that we give up. This is real vairagya. जब ये होता है, समझ से जब अपने आप एक प्लेसमेंट करेक्ट हो जाती है, मुझे कुछ रियल वैराग्य में मुझे कुछ छोड़ना नहीं पड़ता है, वो छूट जाता है. वो सही चीज जब दिखती है जैसी है, तो उसकी एक्सेस इंपॉर्टेंस खत्म हो जाती है. When that fruit starts to bear, the petals start to fall. It's within the maturity process. So जैसे ही मुझे दिखने लगता है, there is a corrective value inside, correction inside, I no longer anyway need to leave it because I see it only for its relative worth. I don't see it as something which is permanent for me. And so, Vairagyam only in this sense is really called Vairagyam. Rising above my dependencies on the sense-based experiences which generated as likes and dislikes. जिनको मैंने कह दिया, अब मैं इसके बिना रह नहीं सकता. I wanted that longing that I start developing because I see them as real. क्योंकि वो रियल लगता है तो लगता है अब ये रह भी जाए, ठहर भी जाए, रुक भी जाए, हमेशा रहे मेरे साथ. This thing should last. At least, like, it should last, because as long as I am there, at least it should last that long. That there'll be harmony in life throughout, peace. What do we all want? Peace in the external world, internal also. We all yearn for peace. But is there a certainty there is no war going to erupt any time in our lifetime? There is no certainty. That means my wanting of something from the external situations and things which are sense experiences, जब मैं उसका करेक्शन करती हूँ तो ओवर वैल्यूइंग खत्म हो जाता है. एंड जब वो खत्म हो जाता है, and I grow above my dependency of the fulfillment of raga and dvesha alone as my happiness, senses experiences का पूरा होना ही मैं उसको अपना आनंद कहूं. Whatever be my ideas of desires, when they get fulfilled is what, when my desire gets fulfilled, I feel happy. Any desire fulfillment is actually what? Sense fulfillment. तभी तो हमें अगर मुझे कुछ खाना था, वही तो डिजायर थी, और मैंने खा लिया तो पूरी हो गई, तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा. It was so good. I'm such a lucky person. If I want something and I get it, I'm a very lucky person. And if I want something and I don't get it, oof, an unlucky person. God's chose सब उल्टा मेरे साथ ही होता है. Everything that has to go wrong only goes wrong with me. Just because you wanted something and you didn't get it. The important, interesting point. My sense of reality इतनी imposed है sense experience पे कि just because my desire not met, I said, oh God. And a lot of people will do all kinds of remedial karmas. I say it in a very light manner. Of course, it's only to convey the lightness, not that I don't appreciate or respect the sentiments behind, but just to say that then I start depending upon a lot of short solutions. I depend upon a lot of immediate solutions. Because I want respite, I want a desire fulfilled, and my idea of fulfillment is a desired fulfillment. Logically speaking also, desire fulfillment, now I think इतना तो शायद अगर कुछ लोग भी अगर फॉलो कर रहे हैं, इतना तो हम सबको क्लियर हो जाना चाहिए अब तक डिजायर की तो उत्पत्ति हुई है, इट्स बॉर्न एट सर्टेन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, उसके पहले डिजायर थी नहीं, डिजायर पैदा हो गई है, तो अब डिजायर जो पैदा हुई है वैसे भी टेम्पररी होएगी। अब उस डिजायर पे मुझे आनंद चाहिए, क्योंकि अब वो पूरी होनी चाहिए, और वो पूरी होने के लिए मैं अपनी जी जान लगा दूं, मैं अपना सब कुछ उस पे दाव पे रख दूं, ताकि वो मुझे मिल जाए। Like example would be when I was growing up, all teenagers, we all have our own fanciful notions of what our adult life should be like. So one of my fanciful notions used to be a hut, cottage, small cottage near a stream in a forest. जहाँ पानी की आवाज मुझे हमेशा सुनती रहनी चाहिए. For me, water is that sound of water would be a meditation. And it should be away from the clankering and the hankering of everything, all the sounds around, that man-made sounds around. And I should have my image was that. And if I didn't have the knowledge with me, trust me, till now I would be working for it. Somehow, my happiness would only be when that desire gets fulfilled. Tak tak. What do I feel about myself? I feel unfulfilled. I feel unlucky. I don't know कैसे कुछ लोगों के सपने पूरे हो जाते हैं, मेरे तो हुए ही नहीं. पता नहीं कैसे कुछ लोगों के पता पूरे हो जाते हैं, मेरे तो हुए ही नहीं. Now the minute I start saying कि मेरे तो सपने पूरे हुए ही नहीं, honestly I am feeling very, very grateful to whatever the environment is, that it's coming out so beautifully, because the cognition is very, very clear. The minute I say कि मेरे तो पूरे हुए ही नहीं, I am entirely saying कि सेंस एक्सपीरियंस अगर हो जाता तो मैं फुलफिल्ड हो जाती, है ना. पानी बह रहा होता, पेड़ होते, चिड़ियाएं होती, सब जगह, और मेरी एक छोटा सा कॉटेज होता. एंड वो इंडिया में तो होता ही नहीं है उस टाइप के जैसे हमारी इमेजिनेशन होती हैं. तो हमको तो पूरा नीट एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए होता है, ऑल दैट स्विस एल्प्स वाली जगह पे जाके हट होनी चाहिए. तो ना, हाउ मच वुड यू हैव वर्कड इन योर लाइफ to get a hut in Swiss, cottage, not hut, wrong word. It should be a cottage. And then I would have also made YouTube videos to say I'm living off grid. Finally, I had to sustain myself. I would have done off grid living then, grown my own. A farmer here we don't respect, but then going all the way there, I would have grown my own food. I would have, what is all that? If you get the idea, there is some release from inside. कुछ छूटता है, कुछ freedom आती है. My entire life I would have chased a dream with a hope that it will fulfill itself, and if it fulfills itself, I will be happy, which means my happiness should be postponed. My happiness is entirely dependent upon my happiness is entirely dependent upon the fulfillment of that. Someone's writing over here, please don't go. I didn't work for it, so I'm not going. Entirely dependent on it. Is this intelligent living? It is entirely रागद्वेष based जीवन. जो रागद्वेष बेस्ड जीवन होगा, उसका आनंद थोड़ा सा बड़ा एकदम से आता है जब कुछ मिलता है, जब राग कोई पूरा होता है. इट्स जस्ट लाइक हैविंग, इफ आई वांट छोला भटूरा टुडे एंड आई गेट छोला भटूरा टुडे, आई विल बी द luckiest person from nowhere, I got a छोला भटूरा today. But that is it. इतनी खुशी मिलेगी मुझे क्योंकि मुझे बहुत जरूरत से finished. But the longer dreams, which we call as concrete, I want to make them concrete. That plan of action behind it, which I generate to fulfill it, nothing wrong in it. But if I do it with the knowledge that they will give me some happiness when they get fulfilled, I should be ready for that. But I should not be foolish to say they will last and I'll be struggle free. वहां जाके डिफरेंट स्ट्रगल्स हो जाएगी. एक चीज लग रही है, द बूम ऑफ द 80s. I am not. I think it's now become very universal. But when in 70s and 80s and the boom was, educated Indian had to go abroad. You have to find ways to go abroad. If you're educated, means you must go abroad. India में तो कोई chance ही नहीं है. There's no scope for you here. Now it's almost acceptable. But at that time, when our previous generations had hardly traveled anybody outside, they would hardly travel state to state. For them, that generation to say that only then will I be fulfilled. So what is the point that we are making is, Vairagyam is not a scary thing. लोगों को वर्ड से भी बड़ा कुछ होने लगता है अंदर से. पता नहीं क्या क्या छुड़वा देंगे, पता नहीं क्या क्या छूट जाएगा. सिर्फ एक, like I said, if you have that camera and you just fine tune your lens, your vision only gets clearer and it gives you freedom. Not that you're going to be, not that if you like it, you get an opportunity, you enjoy it. Why not? If I get an opportunity, why will I not have? I will have a cottage in Switzerland. Why not if I can have it? But I will not kill my life for it. You understand the difference? That difference means not that these are ideals, what I'm saying. The subject is saying to which we all put in the same effort to align if we want that relative freedom also first. Vairagyam gives that relative freedom. And it doesn't make you a non-achiever. No. Just because I want something, only then will I work? No. There are a lot of other portions in Vedanta which makes us extremely active. And action, wherever there is, results have to come. And if you are doing your actions correctly, why will your results not be correct? And if your results are correct, they will anyway give you happiness. But will you depend on some pre-planned vision to say, अब ये होगा तो ही मुझे आनंद मिलेगा? See the difference between the two. So what makes a Vedantin is, he gets the knack of remaining happy. Because he's understood very, very intricately कि sense experience based happiness तो happiness है ही नहीं. ठीक है, जब मिल गई बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं मिली तो हमें दुख नहीं होता. It's okay, नहीं मिली थोड़ी देर के लिए, it's all right. Something or the other keeps coming in the senses is what I was saying yesterday. कोई ना कोई तो आनंद आता ही रहेगा. Sense experience. But the real thing that is imposed on it is what I will have to work upon to separate it from my vision. ये अपने आप से अलग नहीं हो जाता है. So Viveka I start working on, and to the extent it gives Vairagyam, to that an extent that Vairagyam, to that an extent the Vairagyam automatically builds more Viveka. The cottage is distracting, that's true, to someone else also. Yes, it's a very distracting thing. True. Let's focus here. That Vairagyam, certain states of our minds are like that. Not every state of our mind in which we give up is a healthy state of mind. When giving up is actually healthy, born from correct thinking. And that giving up is only a correction of value. The mind remains healthy. Healthy mind means what? राग द्वेष से free है, relative free है. Disturbed नहीं है. जैसे ही पूरा हो गया तो खुश हो गया, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. That state of disturbance, जिसमें हम most of the time actually अपना जीवन बिता देते हैं. कभी कुछ चीज पूरी नहीं होती, कभी कुछ चीज पूरी नहीं होती, कभी कोई कुछ चीज खराब हो जाती, कभी इस इंद्रिय का सुख मिला तो इसका चला गया, कभी यहां से मिला तो इसका चला गया. मतलब we are all the time trying to fit all the indriyas sukh together. So what happens? Most of the time एक आध पूरा होता है, दो तीन नहीं हो रहे होते, तो a lot of our life, average person, and this is real, if we were more intelligent as a society, if Indians would have more value in their culture and their thinking and their ways of life, and they did research orientation and all this, you would find majority of statistics would have come up to say that majority of life of people goes off in that state of dukh that was sensory based. And the dukh is not sensory. The dukh was the imposition. मिला नहीं मुझे जो मुझे चाहिए. जब कोई गारंटी थी ही नहीं कभी कि आपको मिलेगा जो आपको चाहिए. I hope I'm making some sense. That what is not vairagyam. This is real vairagyam. And we're going to be touching upon this a little bit more. What is not vairagyam is जब मेरा मन में एक moment आता है कभी कभी, because I have tried so much to go to the cottage there, and then बहुत कोशिश कर ली, and I've been trying since I was a teenager, and I have worked very hard, and I have become an old lady almost now, and I've still not. अब छोड़ो यार, I don't want it. खट्टे अंगूर है. If ऐसे अंगूर खट्टे हैं just because I didn't have them. Now, is this vairagyam? Because heart to heart, if I am honest to myself, I still want it. But I have tried it, I have not got it. Therefore, I just tell myself, I convince myself, अब तो मुझे नहीं चाहिए. It's not worth it, Especially if I hear a little bit of Vedanta, then the justification comes first before the desire is neutralized. फट करके आ जाता है मन में, अरे क्या फायदा इन सब से, टेम्पररी है ये सब. ये तो सब टेम्पररी है, मिथ्या है सब. It's all mithya, not wanted. And a stage goes on saying, I don't want them, it's all. Not that I understand it as mithya. I intellectually appreciate, but I'm not free of the desire. The point of vairagyam is freedom from the pressure inside to fulfill the desire. That is where vairagyam works to release it. The freedom from the pressure on the desire can be there, but they don't have to pressurize the person to push that person into so much of that it, अगर नहीं पूरा हुआ तो there is distaste and disharmony and unfulfillment and a lot of calling names to your own self most of the time. I'm good for nothing. I didn't become any. I'm a loser. Actually, a word loser has become I'm a loser in life. Half the people will turn up and say that unhappiness of life is because they are calling themselves losers. Why? Because they set certain visions to say I will fulfill them without thinking whether they are fulfillable or not. Therefore, the point being, जब हमारे और कोई भी state of mind से हम छोड़ते हैं जिसमें desire हमने अभी भी अंदर रखी है, तो वो वैराग्य नहीं है. And Vedanta and Gita in particular is a unique text in creation which teaches mankind to grow above desire without giving up this kind of introducing the false sense of vairagyam in yourself, without getting through that false notion of I have given up and still holding desire inside. Gita is that text which gives the knowledge of freeing yourself from the pressure of the desire fulfillment to call yourself a happy being. Which means I can act for the right reasons. I can do action for the right reasons. I don't have to work for a cottage there. I can work and I may still get a cottage. I can still get a cottage if I've worked hard. But it's a byproduct. It's not something I will sell my life for. It will be a byproduct. I say I don't mean I, please. I am taking it as an example, general, conveying a point. That a person doesn't sell their life for certain dependent happiness states. And when you don't give that up and you pursue it and free yourself from the pressure of the raga and dvesh, that is the first step. First step means that is a step for that happiness. And as I said yesterday, it qualifies for mental maturity. A human being has capacity for it. So what is not vairagyam? वो distaste होके अंदर इच्छा, my bottom line is, जो अंदर इच्छाएं दबा दी अंदर, and externally उनको हमने project कर दिया कि it's okay by me, it's fine by me. See the projection. अंदर ही अंदर वो इतनी दब गई है कि अब तो शायद I don't even recognize कि I have the इच्छा. Shastra says, don't fool yourself, because अभी तो तुमने बुद्धू बना लिया अपने आप को, but अगर desire अंदर रखी है, तो another, it will seek an environment to fulfill itself. वो अपना pressure बनाएगा फिर से अंदर कभी. It's a volcano in latency at the moment. It'll burst open someday and say, now I want it. Nothing wrong in it at all. But the correction is that I think it should last forever. And that is my peace and fulfillment. Then that andar ichha daba ke, and then I call myself a peaceful person. That is not vairagyam. Suppression doesn't amount to vairagyam. Or sometimes when I give up something, some relationships I give up, some chase of a cottage if I give up because I just develop a dvesha, hatred for the people who are supposedly to help me to get it. Supposing something like this, some imaginary things in this. एक द्वेष बन जाता है ना, while I'm chasing it, कुछ चीजें हो गई, अब मुझे चाहिए ही नहीं. Forget it, अब मुझे चाहिए ही नहीं. A lot of our life, beautiful experiences people give up because of wrong conclusions. That dvesh based, if only I didn't have so much dvesh in my system, my experience could be something else today. हमारा ही राग द्वेष हमारे सिस्टम में बैठा हुआ हम ही को करप्ट करता है, and then it tells us now I want fulfillment, and now that fulfillment is never going to be enough because rag dvesh will keep interfering. So giving it up because I developed some sort of a dvesh because I had so much rag, so it counter through itself as dvesh. Revulsion for objective life. I just say in some way, I think vairagyam is most people who pretend to have vairagyam, actually they don't understand. They may be sincere, they may not recognize it, but it would be pretension because it's some wrong value of saying material objective life will take me away from my spiritual life. They have their own concept of what spirituality is. A lot of people who take sannyas or become nuns, not all, some are rare. The path is not wrong, no, but vairagyam is something that if you don't have the right vairagyam, you can still do external changes in your life and hold the desires within, with an idea that this is vairagyam. Means if I engage too much in my material world, I will not be a spiritual person. So developing revulsion is dvesha itself. So there are not very many different things, and that dvesh based would be suppression itself. So they're all kind of linked together, but you can identify it something or the other. Running away from objects of people because they are very difficult to handle. हाँ, कुछ कुछ गुण हैं ऐसे, कभी कभी कुछ लोग हमारे, और सबके जीवन में एक दो ऐसे होते हैं, दैट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल पार्ट ऑफ इट, एंड आई समटाइम्स वंडर कि अगर हम प्रोपोर्शन निकालें और सबके जीवन में अगर एक दो ऐसे हैं, तो हम भी तो किसी ना किसी के जीवन में ऐसे बने होंगे जो हमें बड़ा डिफिकल्ट बोलते हैं। अदरवाइज हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल कि सबके, इफ यू टेक द होल स्टैटिस्टिक्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, अगर सभी के जीवन में कोई इंसान ऐसे मुश्किल इंसान आते हैं जिनको बस छोड़ने का, भाग जाने का मन करता है उनसे, तो दैट मीन्स, mathematically speaking, doesn't it amount to say I must be that also for someone or the other? And clear on that example? अगर आपको लगता है हर किसी के, isn't this right कि हर किसी को कोई ना कोई, तो हमें लगता है कि एक आध इंसान हमारे जीवन में ऐसा जैसे भाग जाने का मन करता है, मतलब उसकी पर्सनालिटी ऐसे है, उसके गुण ऐसे हैं, है ना, कि वो इतने डिफिकल्ट पीपल हैं कि तुम कुछ भी कर लो and you just can't get by them. They're difficult people, whether they are my bosses or they are at home or they are my friends or they're, but every person seems to have one person in life or two people in life like that who they call are difficult people, जिनसे भाग जाने को मन करता है कभी कभी, you know, the words are also that only, भाग जाने का मन करता है, यहाँ से भाग जाने के, इधर से भाग जाने का मन करता है, so many in growing stages घर से भाग जाने का मन करता है, means I just want to give it up. That giving it up, भाग जाने का मन करता है. Is this real vairagya? You can't change your thing. आप जहां जाओगे वहां पे भी सब शुरू हो जाएगा. Because only Vedanta, and I am certain on this, whether somebody takes Janmas to understand this or, but principles don't change in life. And the principle is that किसी चीज को भी अगर आप भाग रहे हो किसी चीज से, दैट्स नॉट ग्रोथ, दैट्स नॉट योर ग्रोथ मेंटल. आप भाग टेम्पररी रिस्पाइट ले भी लोगे तो इट वोंट सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, इट वोंट सॉल्व द सिचुएशन, it will only make it postponed and create a new problem, a new situation somewhere. So only Vedanta, what I'm certain on is, only Vedanta gives you that technique of facing it and growing over it, so that you become independent of it. And when you're independent of it, it doesn't matter whether it is there or not. Like, for example, when as children you want your toy world, but when you're grown out of the toy realm, it doesn't matter if other children are playing with the toys or not, or if the toys are lying around you, they don't affect you. So the test is, Vairagyam ka test is, it brings tremendous objectivity and peace if it is the right Vairagyam. But in the process of growing up, we need to identify the differences. There'll be many stages in which we think it is Vairagyam if it's not clarified to us, and it actually lands up becoming another problem at another point of time because it's not discerned. And the last one I said, Shastra gives this to identify what is that false giving up is, what is called Shamshana Vairagyam. That Shamshana Vairagyam meant कि जो जब, when a close, very close being of ours, a friend or relative or family member or someone very dear to us, or when we have grown enough to empathize enough, we find any death anywhere and you go to the funeral ceremony, that थोड़ी देर के लिए जो मन में प्रश्न आने लगते हैं, क्या फायदा जीवन का, ये इंसान गया कहाँ, अभी तो I spoke to the person, especially when there are sudden deaths and you can't reconcile the sudden absence, disappearance of this walkie-talkie body. When there is a death of the body, abhi to yesterday, in sudden deaths, it's so difficult to give a closure to the experience because a sudden death means yesterday it was relatable. I was relating to the person. The person was talking. When we see our actor and you see the videos on the reports, you just wonder, where has this person disappeared? That questioning that stays for a short period of time wants to make you give up everything, thinking paise ka koi file, because that person left behind everything. That person left behind the honor, the person left behind the money, the person left behind every possible dream achievement for which the person worked so hard to get, left everything behind, and suddenly आपके मन में भी एक मिनट के लिए आ जाता है, इन सब चीजों का क्या फायदा? What is the worth of all? What is life meant for? What is life really worthwhile for? वो temporary state आता है, and then your desires overtake you again and you are back in the chase. That temporariness is called shamshana. Means जो आप funeral service पे जो आपका state of mind होता है, be watchful. It's not necessary that it's only going to occur at a funeral state. There are situations in life when suddenly that temporary vairagya arises and you just want to give up everything. Vedanta prohibits that. It says, that's why Arjuna and Krishna's situation was very beautifully picturized. Because Krishna took every effort and every breath of his to convey to Arjuna, ये तेरा सही वैराग्य नहीं है. You will not be a happy person here, and in the future you'll be a miserable person if you take to the course of sannyas now, just because you don't want to fight this extremely distasteful situation. It's nobody's. अगर हम अपनी दृष्टि से हम सब अपने तरफ से सोचे जैसे luck and Allah, Arjuna must be the most unluckiest fellow to face his own loved people in front of him and he has to take the call of killing them. इससे ज्यादा अनलकी सिचुएशन क्या होती है होगी किसी की लाइफ में? जिनको आप ऑनर करते हो, वैल्यू करते हो, वही आपके सामने खड़े हैं और उन्हीं को आपको मारना पड़ेगा और आपको अपनी जीत चाहिए. तो इतनी कॉम्प्लेक्स सिचुएशन. इस कॉम्प्लेक्स सिचुएशन को हाईलाइट करने का बहुत बड़ा सिग्निफिकेंस है. व्हाई इज महाभारत? Why are our scriptures so extraordinary? क्योंकि they are actually literature. If you can learn from Shakespeare, if you can learn from Othello, if you can learn from Romeo and Juliet, if you can learn from all those plays and derive philosophy out of it, this is actually metaphors. It's depicting a parallel human life in every era and every time that every human being will have. That these situations will arise in our life some point or the other. And there'll be a time when you'll be faced with some difficult, very difficult situations. तब छोड़ के भाग के spiritual path लेने का मन कर जाता है. Suddenly you want to become a vairagi. And you say, Nini, I've lost it. Exactly like Arjuna said in the first chapter. I've lost interest in all these things. मुझे नहीं चाहिए ये सब. And that's the time Gita, Krishna puts in tremendous, I would say tremendous for Krishna, of course it's effortless. मगर जब तो आप पढ़ना शुरू करते हो तो आपको realize होता है, it is not easy to convey to even a single person what is the right thing to do in life. किसी को कोई नहीं कह सकता कि तुम्हारे लिए सही क्या है. And ऐसी situation में भी the teaching is available to tell man that just as Arjuna wanted to give up, आपके अंदर भी जब ये सब आता है, be watchful. That is Shamshana Vairagyam. जो अर्जुन को उधर हो गया, and be watchful. That is not going to give you any spiritual gain. And remember our class yesterday, our definition of spiritual is only as much as full maturity of your inner subtle body. That maturity is called being spiritual. Spiritual doesn't mean कि आप विभूति लगाए हुए हो and only भगवान मतलब all that is also yes, but Vedanta spiritual is what? Developing your being to the extent that you can identify who you really are. That's the Vedantic way of spirituality. So this kind of a Shamshana based Vairagyam which will make you ineffective in life. It makes you a useless commodity in life. It makes you a dependent person in life. You will depend on someone or the other's grace. You will depend on someone or the other for their for for your survival, you will depend on people. That's not called vairagyam. So be watchful. Mind में बहुत सारे भाव आ जाते हैं situation based that you will just say छोड़ देते हैं. No, real vairagyam is not all this. So then, having completed this, we said yesterday the three kinds of vairagyams, and the three vairagyams means these are only intensities, they're not kinds. vairagyam तो एक ही किस्म का है, but जितनी मेरी विवेक बुद्धि है उतनी ही मेरी वैराग्य हो सकती है, real vairagya. And that will be mand, madhyam, तीव्र. मंद वैराग्यम is कभी कभी मुझे एक स्टेडीनेस दिखता है of the futility of actions and results, that I start suspecting कि ये मुझे वो नहीं दे रहे, but I'm not able to resist the desires, or I'm not able to channelize the desires within me, and I'm still overcome by their power, and I still depend upon senses for their happiness. Kabhi kabhi, I just about appreciate, but I'm not able to change the plan. That is manda vairagyam. है, seed है, कभी कभी रहता है, कभी दिखता है, correctness दिखती है, but I'm not able to change the plan. And if I can't change the plan, then all the meaning of manda vairagyam is that I will have a lot of struggles for my sensory based happiness to get free from. बहुत practice करनी पड़ेगी मुझे, ज़्यादा practice करनी पड़ेगी. Compared to moderate vairagyam, madhyam means most of the time it's available to me. I am able to resist a lot of it, but I am still not ready for a full time-based inquiry of who I am. Who's the real me? The real truth I'm not fully ready for. I still have desires to fulfill. Though now I will not follow them through all the time. But so my struggle for my real knowledge will be that much lesser compared to manda vairagyam. But I will not have an easy path, because the easy path of self-knowledge is only when there is tivra vairagyam. And tivra vairagyam means it's extremely potent, enough to say my viveka buddhi is jagrat, fully awakened. I have recognized the mithyatvam of all sense-based experiences up to the point of swargam, because swarg-based life also, heaven-based life also, will only be sensory-based life. And the best example of Tivra Vairagyam is in the Kathopanishad, the character of Nachiketa. While Arjun becomes, who has Manda Vairagyam, almost showing signs of Shamshana Vairagyam, Nachiketas on the other hand is Tivra Vairagyam. और उसका, we will take up the story a little bit for the sake of those who don't know in the next class, to see the difference between Manda and Tivra Vairagyam, and how these two characters that have been presented to us to help us understand in ourselves where we fall, so that the journey becomes clearer. Which journey? That journey to know yourself. What you seek is really your own self. The happiness that you are the source of. These are all words at this stage, I presume, for some of you, and I'm sure not for some of you. But each one will understand this clearly, that from Manda Vairagyam to Tivra Vairagyam, these are only intensity that one recognizes. Means तुम्हें जो छोड़ने की चीज है, तुम्हें कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती छोड़ने में, क्योंकि तुम्हारी बुद्धि ऑलरेडी कहती है तुम्हारी रिकग्निशन है, तुम्हारी एक्सेप्टेंस है कि जो जिस चीज को छोड़ना ही है छूटेगी ही, अगर वक्त आ जाता है तो उसको छोड़ने में तुम्हें कुछ नहीं होता है अंदर से, इट डजंट टच यू. These three stages is what we will see, and it will culminate itself, the topic will culminate itself at a later point where it will say there are techniques that Shastra gives us to constantly neutralize the desires that pressurize us for seeking when we have a sense of reality imposed on it. And one huge technique it gives us is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. But that I think is 3 or 4 classes still later. Okay? That technique to be developed to develop Viveka stronger, so that I get stronger Vairagyam, and when these strengthen each other and my desires are under my control, but to that extent you are a mature being. But if the desire pressurizes you to seek happiness, then you have an unhealthy person, unhealthy mind in that. Raga Dvesh Yukt Manaha is an unhealthy mana. Just as if the body can get unhealthy, the mind can also get unhealthy. So this we will take up another point next week. I will end the class here. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet.